How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Talking with Dean. My guest needs no introduction, but I'm going to give it to him anyway. He hails from Nintendo City, New York, weighing in at 170 gigabytes, the master of multitasking, the game changer, the viral Switch wrestler. Big game. Don't forget his name. Leroy. How was that?
Oh, that was incredible. Like I gotta take you on the road with me, man. You gotta be my first ring announcer.
Hey, I'll be a good one, man. I'll be a good one, you know? So, Leroy, it's really no question. I got into you because, I saw the Twitter. You're wrestling with a Switch.
That's the wrong number!
Congratulations! This game's winner is
Big Game Leroy.
Yeah. I mean, I it's not that I planned that out. It's more like, you know how like you're really hooked on a nice game or something and you're having a good time and you're in a flow and you don't want to ruin that flow. And then, next thing you know, the bell rings, there's some guys over there on the other side of you trying to beat you up, and he doesn't really understand that you can't really pause the game because it's going to ruin the whole thing. So you end up doing a little bit of wrestling because you're really good at wrestling, but you're not putting down the Switch because you're still gaming. You're really good at gaming. So, that's why the master of multitasking comes in. You got to make sure that you're doing a little bit of both, doing both at a high level.
Right. And you do that very well. I saw quite a few matches of you before we did this little interview we're doing right now. And, man, I just want to ask you, what got you into wrestling? And, what was the match and you were like, that's the one. I want to be like that guy.
I think I've said it's always so hard to pinpoint because I started wrestling before I could even really remember and know what wrestling really was. I think I was 4 or 3 years old, and I was definitely someone was channel flicking, and I remember it landed on The Rock, and I really, really liked what he was saying. It was really funny. It was definitely Attitude Era Rock, and I was just like, oh man, this is awesome. This dude, I don't know what the hell he's talking about, but it's entertaining. It's great, and I need to see more of it. I need to see what he actually does. Then he kind of got his ass kicked a little bit, and that was fun. So my thing from then on was just I just need more of this. And as I got a little bit older, I started watching SmackDown back when it was on Thursdays, and that was really, really cool. And I was just like, oh man, SmackDown on UPN, Rey Mysterio, Matt Hardy, RVD, Edge, guys like that were these guys are super cool. They're like superheroes, except it's in real life. And so I was hooked from then on, and I just didn't really grow out of it, even though I was probably supposed to.
Oh, wow. Okay, so there's a bit of an age gap here. My first time I saw Sergeant Slaughter burn the American flag, and I was like,
oh, God.
And then
also, it's such a controversial moment.
Yeah. They showed it on USA No Tomorrow and everything. And then I guess I missed out. And then the loop, few years passed and everything. And it's I see Razor Ramon win this battle royal, having to face Rick Martel, and go on to next week for the Intercontinental Championship, the vacant Intercontinental Championship.
Nice. Oh, you were in the golden era. That's golden era.
Yes, the golden era indeed. Yes, that was it. Okay, so it's you have wrestled for 8 years and wrestled in promotions like CZW, Combat Zone Wrestling.
Yes, I have.
House of Glory, Hog, Evolve, and Viticus. Are you still currently with them? You're currently
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I just wrestled for them a few weeks ago. Going to be wrestling for them yet again at the end of the year. So that's a good time.
Was that was it a 6-way or 7-way?
It was a 8-man tournament.
8-man tournament. Okay, I knew it was multiple people. Okay. And you have also wrestled on AEW. Wow.
Yes, I have. As I had to remind a few people who kept reminding me who kept telling me on the viral clip, oh, he's going to be on Dynamite. He's going to be on Dynamite. And I was like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess everybody's a prophet. I don't really know what that means, but been on Dark before, so I mean, it's not too far off.
Yeah, and your tag team partner was Eli who?
EJ Lewis.
EJ Lewis. Okay.
Yeah, a good friend of mine.
And y'all wrestled Santana and Ortiz. Woo.
Yeah. Some bad SOBs, man. As tough as they come.
I'm telling you, it's a shame that they're not together anymore. But man, that's pretty awesome wrestling.
Yeah, no, they're awesome dudes. Awesome team. I mean, awesome team. Can't say enough about them. I mean, they kind of beat the crap out of me, kicked my switch out of my hands, but that still give them all the respect in the world. They're two fellas who I kind of came up with in the New York scene a little bit, and like me more as a young boy trying to pay my dues, trying to squeeze my way in there, and they were like very much like top guys, booked like everywhere, and then getting signed to Impact, then getting signed to AEW, and all the things.
I was just about to ask you, was this when they were LAX, the new LAX, and all that?
No, they were firmly like proud and powerful at this time, and like they're cool dudes. Like I've known them for a little while. They used to come by Hog, which is the place they trained and came up in. So they used to come by a lot. They didn't train there per se, but they would come by every once in a while to the classes and stuff like that. And then also like, of course, they were at the shows and wrestling on the shows a lot. So like, got to know them pretty well. And, that's pretty cool. Like, to bump elbows with people like that who, pretty cool.
I know what you mean, man. I used to be a worker too and everything. And my highest fame to glory, I could say, is meeting the late Skandar Akbar. I don't know if you know who he is.
Skandar Akbar. That sounds really familiar.
I'm telling you, dude, it's before like Golden Era type stuff. This dude was in WCCW. He had the Devastation Incorporated, all that good stuff. He said I had a nice look, and I was like, I can tell everybody this. Yes.
Yeah.
I have a nice look.
Yeah, I gotta use that.
Yeah, I'm from Arkansas, and I mean, if I was from New York, I'd be right there with you, Leroy. But yeah, I love wrestling so much. So, like I said, you have fought names such as Joe Gacy, who was on NXT.
Yes.
Danhausen, the very nice, very evil.
I've actually beaten Danhausen before too. So
wow, you beat Danhausen. Hold on, did he use the teeth on you?
Unfortunately, I got a mouthful of teeth, and that was not a fun time. I gotta watch that. Those teeth, man. Those teeth did not. That was an experience. Yeah. But I got them back because I don't know if you know this about Nintendo Switch cartridges, about like how Nintendo purposely makes them really gross. Like they put a chemical over it, so kids don't eat it. Kids don't, chew on it or put it in their mouth and choke on it. So they made sure that it tastes as vile as can be. So I got him back because I got a jar full of Switch cartridges, dumped it in his mouth before I kicked him back in the face.
Oh, man. Those Switch cartridges, were they like AAA games and all that, or?
Mix of some different stuff, but
Oh, my man, you wasted over $500, Leroy.
I didn't waste them. You pick them up, you clean them off, you dust them off.
Okay.
They're all good.
I was about to say, maybe Danhausen, swallowed a couple. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, he got that's a little bit of game up for the road, I guess, right?
Yeah. I have to catch that match. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you also wrestled against Rich Swann. Hey.
Yes. That's the homie, man. That's the homie. I wrestled him in a 6-way. I want to say like 3-something years ago. I think it was the summer of 2019, one of the Hog shows. That was a really good time. Gave me a lot of really good advice after the match, and such a good dude. Every time I see him, he's really, really, really a nice dude.
I mean, he gave me a high five when I was at Raw one time. So yeah, nice dude.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. And we'll get into this guy.
Oh, no.
You have This is your trainer, correct?
Yes, that is. Yes, that is. That's the man who's taught me how to wrestle, the Amazing Red.
Yes. That's a rare DVD, folks. Oh man.
No, I was gonna say that's vintage. That's cool. I didn't even know that was a DVD, man. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, dude. I got plenty of them. I used to collect like TNA stuff like crazy, but as soon as Hogan came in, I'm like, oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. And you also went head to head, which some would say is probably, well, he's up there with the stiffness, Mr. Low Key.
Yes, that is a moment that many love to talk about to this day. It never gets old for people. Like they're always. I feel like every single time I'm in a new area, new locker room, everybody there's whispers and they're just like, "Did you really play video games with Low Key? Like, did he really do that?"
Yes. And it was like, dude, I saw this and it was so epic to me because I'm used to like seeing, video game tournaments with Street Fighter 5 going on. Like, I don't know if you ever watched this one guy named Low Tier God. He'll like lose all.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I know Low Tier God. Me and my friends. Oh,
dude gets put in his place so much. It's so funny. I mean, like, wow.
And he still finds a way to talk trash. He's like a very pro wrestling-y, to be honest. Like, it's just like,
and he's got a good build to him. He could do something. Yeah, and I'm just like, I saw this and I was like, was Low-Key dressed as Agent 47?
Hitman, yeah. I mean, the tie and stuff. I mean, I would definitely say he was giving very Hitman vibes. I mean, a hit was put on me and he accepted it. So I mean, he's definitely a bounty hunter for sure.
Okay. And then you present to him a second switch and ask him to join in on a friendly game of Street Fighter 5.
I don't know about friendly. I'm pretty sure. As soon as the game, at any moment, he could have just flipped the switch, so to speak, and put a hurting on me. So it was more of a peace offering, like hey, you're gonna kick my ass, man. Before you kick my ass, let's play a game. Come on.
Yeah.
They don't want to just see you eviscerate me. Like, come on, let's play a game. And I figured, if I beat him in Street Fighter, if I let him pick his game, he picked his character, and I beat him, then maybe there was a chance I could get into his head, and maybe when the wrestling starts, I could, sort of circumvent that, throw him off his game, so to speak. And then, it didn't really go my way.
And you played as Chun-Li. Now, is that your main?
Yeah, actually, I'm a big Chun-Li fan. Like, I've always liked Chun-Li even as a kid. So it kind of fit perfectly that way. Two classic Street Fighter characters. I used to play a little bit of Ken in Street Fighter 2.
Ken, Ken's more aggressive than Ryu to me, yeah.
Yeah, but Chun-Li was always my favorite. The huge legs, the huge thighs, you just.
Oh man, who's that one chick that's from Brazil? Should we having like one side braided, the other hanging down? She's got some nice legs in that Street Fighter. You know what I'm talking about?
I'm trying to remember what you're talking about, but I think I know you.
Color scheme will be green. She's like, I guess she might be some sort of Latin descent.
And the newer games you're talking about, right? Like
and Street Fighter 5 and stuff. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, Street Fighter 5, like I haven't played Street Fighter since Street Fighter 4. I'm hoping the next Street Fighter game brings me back into it, because it just feels like it's a lot of pay to play. I feel like it's a lot of DLC heavy games, and it's just like you kind of need to you spend your $60 in the game, then you gotta spend another 60 to get the full game, and you feel like, okay, wow.
Yes. And I'm not all these DLC characters, like you said, they'll be presenting them like 3 at a time. Then the skins, the endless skins.
The crazy thing though is that they'll have the DLC ready day one. So you're just like, you had them, you finished them. Because to me, DLC is stuff that you're creating after the game's release. Like, you're trying to create more content for it. Like, I'll pay for that. But if you just decided you made the game, and then you're like, okay, but this half of the game we're gonna sell to them over the next 2-3 months after release. It's like, dang, it's kind of scummy.
It is scummy, but you know what? It's a good marketing move. So I would have to say that. You were in this year's PWI of the PWI 500, and you ranked 495. Congratulations, Leroy.
Thank you. It's still pretty fresh, because I think they released that in September. Like the evaluation here, it's like August. I think it hit the stores and stuff September, and that was pretty sick, to be honest. It's been something that I've been working for the last, I want to say, like year or so, because a lot of my peers, a lot of people I came up with were on the lists, and I was kind of just like, all right, what do I got to do? Who do I got to beat? What do I got to do? and it was very validating. So we put up there, it's a magazine, it's cool. I do this thing where it's like it's a mix of like, okay, it's just a list, it's just it's just a few people's opinions, like who cares in the cosmic sense. But then it's really cool to see your name put there, like with a bunch of really cool wrestlers, really talented people, like literally the best wrestlers on the planet, like it's the 500, 500 best wrestlers around for the year.
Yes.
And my name will always be up there, and that's really cool, in a magazine. I get to put that on a shelf or something, it's
awesome. Have it slabbed up, all that good stuff. So Leroy, you have a few moves that I want to ask you. One of your signature moves is the Hadouken. Am I correct?
You see, it's the funny thing is that a lot of people say it's Hadouken. You see, I'm a big Dragon Ball Z fan, so it's more of a Kamehameha,
Kamehameha wave. Okay.
Yeah, it's more of a tribute to Goku, though. The homage.
Yes. Well, these announcers are getting it so wrong, so
No,
wrong.
that's my favorite thing. It's like that's why I don't even want to like be upset, because I think that like that's cool. If you're a Street Fighter fan, it's doing it for you. That I'm like just like let's be real. It's an energy blast coming out of my hands and palms like that. So like it's the same effect. It's laying them on their ass. I'll tell you that. It's you can't argue the effects of the move, but it's I definitely like it's definitely more of a Dragon Ball Z thing. I've loved doing that move when I was a kid. I used to just throw Kamehamehas at people all the time. Like when I was in like middle school and elementary school, running around like Kamehameha. Right. It makes sense that as a pro wrestler, like I do that. I psych myself up and I just blast them right in the chest, try to get through the chest, but
Do you ever do it when you're like so fatigued and you're just like, and you're like, Kamehameha, get into it?
Yeah. No, I definitely do the whole. It's a whole thing. It's a whole process. It's a whole mental process. You have to. You see, you can't just say it and just throw your hands towards somebody. You gotta focus. You gotta chant it. You gotta get the people behind you, get them to lend you your energy, and you gotta really cock your hands back. It's a whole process. I would tell you, but Master Roshi told me it's a trade secret. I can't really tell y'all. I can't really let this in public. It kind of takes away. It's a secret, masterful technique. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, the turtle hermit knows too much. But the Kamehameha wave came before the Hadouken. I just want to put that out there.
Yes,
because,
it did. It did.
Yes, Dragon Ball was out there in the 80s. So, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes. I know my anime too. We're getting to the anime here in a little bit. So, is your finisher the brutality?
Yes, it is.
And that would be like a rolling horizontal backstabber?
Yes, it is. Do a whole flip and everything, and I'm realigning their spines. You see, I call it the brutality because I was playing a lot of Mortal Kombat, watching all these like spine aligning moves, and I was like, what if I did that to somebody? You know what I mean? which I a little cracked up in the skull. Maybe I played a little too much games, but you know what I'm saying? It's effective. It's very, very effective.
It looks pretty effective, and it's like, wow, ow. Oof. And now you have a submission move that I don't know if you have a name for. The proper name for it would be the chicken wing over the shoulder crossface. Do you have a name for that?
I don't actually. Yeah. The funny thing about that is it's a tribute to somebody who I like. I'm a huge fan. Someone who had a really strong impact on my career. Johnny Gargano.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah. The thing about it is like it's not just like it's an appreciation for him because I was a fan of him for many years, and when I actually we talked about Evolve, I actually had done an Evolve seminar and he was the one running and conducting it. So when I got to wrestle for Evolve, I got to wrestle because I was selected from the seminar, and he was the one who picked me. He was the one who saw something in me. He gave me so much good advice. He was such an awesome dude to me, and he had no reason to be. He could have just been like, all right, I picked that guy. All right, bye. Going back to WWE, going back to, being rich and famous and on TV and stuff. And he was not. He gave me so much time of day. He was so kind. He was so patient and, gave me a lot of ideas, gave me a lot of inspiration. And he continues to do that. So it was kind of my nod of giving back. I needed a really quick submission and effective one, of course. And I was just like, well, I've been watching these tapes for like so long. I think I can pull out a pretty devastating, effective one myself. So it's something that I keep in the back pocket in case I need to, try to get someone to tap out pretty quickly.
Yeah. He calls that the Gargano escape.
The Gargano escape. I think
Gargano escape.
I feel like there's got to
Yes.
be like a no on the no escape. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause
Yeah,
there's no
yes.
escape.
Well, maybe you can call. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, if you got a name idea, like
Oh, I got one right here. I was like, call it the PLG. Now you're gonna ask what does PLG mean?
PLG. All right, wait, what's that mean? I got a bite.
Player leaves game.
Like when the online, like when those people rage quit or something, and then just like
Yeah.
players left the game. That's hilarious. I like
yeah,
that.
yeah. I like it when they. It's
Yeah,
so
the
great.
salty ones. Yeah.
All right. Now we're going to get into some top fives, Leroy. Could you name your top 5 wrestlers of all time?
Ooh, that's so tough. I'm not gonna say in order. Order would be too difficult. So I'm gonna throw out 5 and we're gonna go with them. So I would say Rey Mysterio's got to be up there. I think he's like one of my first favorites. Just super inspirational to me. I would throw in Jeff Hardy. I always wanted to be like Jeff Hardy. I was jumping off of random stuff in my house, and I broke millions of socks and colored them to try to get the armbands and stuff. Another one, a little bit later in my career would be like Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson. Like once I started watching the Independents, he was somebody who really spoke to me. Yeah, another person who like I became a huge fan of later, El Generico. Yeah, I feel like I almost have to say with the same person, but Sami Zayn. I don't know I don't know like I don't know like if that counts as 2. They're 2 different
El
guys.
Generico is in Mexico helping children.
I know he's retired. I know he's retired. I'm hoping that he comes out of retirement one day. He's helping the orphans in Mexico, but one of my favorites. Again, Sami Zayn, another one. When he made it to WWE and stuff like that, a big fan of his work. He's Zeusy.
Yeah.
And I think the last one will probably have to be Kevin Owens. They're just
okay.
Yeah, like those guys, particularly Kevin Steen on the Indies and El Generico, when I first started watching, those were the guys who when I jumped in, those were the guys who were like the top of the scene, and they just kind of very much, they just really got me enamored of wrestling, because I was like, wow, these guys, they take it from CZW to Ring of Honor to PWG, like it's always on site, no matter what company they're in. Kevin Steen, El Generico, they lock eyes like they're Pokemon. And they're just like, they just start brawling, and I love that. It's just awesome to me. And
yeah, I first saw them too on ROH, and they were a good tag team. Then all of a sudden, Kevin Steen, or why do you have to do it?
Of course, awful human.
Those are some good picks. I like those picks.
Thank you.
Okay, and what are your top 5 wrestlers you hope to work with one day?
Oh man, that's tough. Can I work the people I just named? It's so like, I mean, I think there's some dream matches for sure. Some dream ones that I think would be really, really cool. I think one of the main ones off the top of my head would be Orange Cassidy. I think I've said that many, many times to many people in many locker rooms. And I think that would be something that would either be, I think it would be one of the more interesting wrestling matchups you'd probably see. I'm sure there would be so much wrestling happening in that match.
So much.
Technical masterpiece for sure. But no, he's amazing. Everything he does, he's created a lane and a space for I'd be lying if I didn't say he created a lane and space for guys like me to even exist, for guys like my style to really translate to the masses and stuff like that. And I think he's awesome. So that would be one. Another person who I'd really, really want to work a little higher up the chain, I guess you could say, but Kenny Omega, he to me is like probably pound for pound one of the best wrestlers, if not the best wrestler on the face of the earth. And I think you'd be lying to yourself if you're a wrestler and you say you don't want to challenge yourself by trying to wrestle a guy like that. Some more people. I'd really want to wrestle Xavier Woods, man. He's the homie. He follows me on Twitter, but I just feel like he's just there for me, man. Like I just really want to wrestle that dude. And then this one might be harder because I know he's in the back end of his career, but Rey Mysterio, he's like one of my heroes. Like I loved him as a kid. I thought he was a real life superhero. Still think he's pretty awesome. Really want to wrestle a guy like that. I think that's 4. Am I at 4 now?
You're at 4.
Okay, and then I think last one. This one's a new one that's like kind of been sticking to the back of my craw a little bit, just because I think it'd be such a great dynamic. I would say Pete Dunne, Butch.
Pete Dunne, okay, yeah.
such a good technical wrestler.
Oh, but if you wrestle him, your fingers are going to be so hurt.
I know, but that's the challenge. You see, I'm a pro gamer, man. These fingers are as strong as they get.
Okay.
My fingers are as durable as it gets, man. I've been like smashing joysticks and rolling joysticks for like forever, man. These fingers, these palms, everything is strong as it can be. So I don't know. I want to see him try to break these digits, man. And I mean, can you imagine me trying to get Butch to play video games with me? Like that crazy psychopath running around.
Yeah, I don't believe it will happen. I don't know. We'll see when the time comes. We'll see. It's funny you should mention Orange. So Orange, you said paving the way for you. When you say that, are you meaning like gimmick wrestlers?
I don't even like, and I'm not trying to sound like a way. Like I don't believe in like gimmick wrestlers in that sense. I think it's just wrestlers. Like there's characters. Everybody's a character. Like every wrestler has a character. Every wrestler is a certain way. You know, the same way like people have different personalities. You know, like I still step in the ring. I'm still a wrestler. You know, and I still wrestle. You know, I still do. I just I love video games and I love it so much that I bring it with me into the ring, literally and figuratively. You know, my wrestling style when the switch does go down and is based off video games. My offense is based off video games. I emulate video games in almost everything I do, from my gear to my music to my everything, and I think, he committed so much to who he is, where he's just like, hey man, whatever. Don't really care. I'm just hanging out. I'm just vibing, man. You're mad. You're up in my face. Whatever.
Right.
It's just, because it speaks to just being true to yourself, man. And I think there's something really cool to that. I think there's really something cool to committing to who you are, because sure, he's an amazing wrestler. Like objectively, like he's just amazing. Like he can do things in the rings at such a crazy speed and those gear changes. But like, to me, I think the fun is that like, you don't know when you're going to get that. Like maybe you mush him in the face and he doesn't care, but then he just pops up to life and he starts trying and he's boop, 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 just turns around, satellite DDT, boom, you're spiked on your head. And you're just like, what the heck? That guy wasn't wrestling like 5 seconds ago.
Yeah. I think his kip ups are fun. I love watching Orange Cassidy do all the kip ups. People can talk smack, dude. If it's like wrestling entertainment, it's wrestling entertainment. Like, come on.
Yeah, if it makes you happy, if it brings happiness to people, right. If it makes you feel something, then that's what matters. Because I've seen a lot of greasy, oily people and huge in trunks, black trunks with no personality, wrestle and beat the tar out of each other. And it's like, all right, it's not that entertaining to me, but I mean, I guess that's wrestling, right? Like, no, I mean, to me, it's like whatever makes you feel something, whatever elicits a reaction, whatever tells a story to you that like you can understand. Like for me, it's like, my favorite thing is people understand my story really easily. People who aren't necessarily wrestling fans are like, oh, that kid really can't put down that darn switch. He's really hooked on it. It's a relatable thing. And then you see me wrestle, you see kind of what I can do with it. And then, someone takes it away or someone tries to take it away. And now there's this animosity where it's like, hey man, like this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm about. This is a $300 console. Like, you don't mess with another man's switch. You don't mess with another man's system. So then, you start going at it, and now there's a reason for that. That there's motivation. I treat everything like a game. Once I step in that ring, man, I'm trying to level up. I'm trying to power up. I'm trying to be at the top of the leaderboard, get a new high score, all the things. Like I treat wrestling how I treat video games, and yes, it's very, very serious to me.
Yes. And I watched your workout video. That was so fun with you doing the dumbbells, but who knew you had an extra set of hands? I don't know.
yeah, no, it's just when you're really in the zone, man, you gotta game, but you also gotta curl, multitasking.
Yeah. Another guy I'd like to see you wrestle is I think he might be in your area, Luigi Primo.
Luigi Primo. I don't know if he's in my area, but I know he's been up here a little bit. He's been traveling all around. I know after Chicago, a lot of people have been saying they really want to see us wrestle. Some people say they want us to team up together. I mean, why not both? Like, I mean,
either or.
Yeah. I mean, I just really hope. I keep seeing these clips of him with the dough and stuff like that, but I want to see the marinara sauce. I want to see the cheese. Like, I want it to be like a matchup where, like, by the end of it, I finish my game, I beat my game, and he's finished making his pizza, and then maybe I give him a turn, maybe I get a slice of pizza. I don't know. Hopefully, there's a happy ending like that at the end.
That'd be great. Yes. All right, let's get into some gaming. What is the first console you have ever owned?
That is tough because I'm always torn between I was 4 years old, so it's hard to remember. I'm pretty sure my first console was an Nintendo 64. Sometimes I think it's a Game Boy Color, but I'm pretty sure the Game Boy Color was a little bit after. But it was an Nintendo 64. Super Mario 64 is the first game I got, of course, because they just gotta go together. And I was hooked ever since, man. I just seeing Mario in that 3D world, I felt like I was somewhere else. I felt like I was someone else, and it felt so immersive, man. I was stomping on Goombas, and I was just like, oh, this is cool.
So with the Nintendo 64, did you have the previous console, which was Super Nintendo?
My mom did in her closet somewhere, and I played it a little bit later, but it wasn't mine. I grew up with it a little bit later. Like I dug it out and I found it. I was like, oh shoot, Super Mario World. Oh, this is cool. All right, Yoshi's Island. One of the greatest.
This is the only card I own, so I just pulled it out because
Yeah, no.
All the other stuff, I don't know where it is, but yeah.
Very fitting. We didn't rehearse this at all, folks. We didn't rehearse this.
At all. I was just like, hey, I'm going to pull out a bunch of stuff that I think Leroy would like. Amazing Red check. That check. Got a few more. But yeah. My first one, you ever play on Atari?
Oh, my God. Yeah, I have.
You have?
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Well, I didn't grow up on these things. I'm not trying to age myself too much, but it's like, I'm a nerd for this stuff. Like once I got into like the middle school age, I was kind of like, oh, what were the original consoles? Like, what are the arcade stuff? Like, let me find and do some homework and stuff. And, I found ways to play different things. I have friends that are super into gaming that collect items and stuff. My sad villain origin story is that like I used to have a very extensive video game collection of a lot of stuff, but I started training in wrestling for wrestling school like when I was 17, and I didn't have like a job. I just graduated high school and stuff like that. And my folks were like, "Oh yeah, we'll pay for the first month, but after that, you're on your own." And I was just, because I was technically like an adult, so it was just like, okay, how do I make this money to keep training?
Right.
Tears sells video games.
Oh man, yes,
So,
it does.
Yeah, so I sold the Xbox. I sold. I think I had sold my Wii at the time. I sold my PS3. I sold all the controllers, all the games. I think I had sold like my. I had a 3DS at the time, and I had a DS, and I had a Game Boy Advance. The Game Boy Advance, I'm not as upset about because I sold to my friends. So when I go to my friend's house, I play it. But like yeah, no, it's tough. It's tough. I was able to re-get some of this stuff. Like at the time, I had sold my GameCube, but I kept the memory card. So like I was like, all right, cool. At least I still got the memory card, and then if I get the games, at least I still can be good. And I later, once I got a little bit more financially stable, once wrestling started paying for a few things, I was able to go, okay, all right, let me get the GameCube back. Let me, do the things. And my GameCube's pretty awesome because I don't know if you've seen before, but it's a very handy weapon at times. Got that nice little handle, and when I do my no-ring death matches and my street fights, it comes into play very, 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 very well.
All that is very heartbreaking that you had to sell even the PS3. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, no, that one hurt. That one hurt a lot. What did he do? You're chasing the dream, man.
I mean, the Xbox. I don't mind you selling the Xbox. I didn't care too much.
Like I kind of did it like on a whim. I was like, yeah, I'm not really playing it much, anyways, man. It's a Christmas gift. Like
there you go. I noticed though you didn't say no Sega console.
I had a dream. I had a Dreamcast that the cousin took away once we like moved. So like it wasn't really mine. I ended up playing a lot of the Dreamcast games like on GameCube and PS2 anyways, like later. So I didn't really feel the need to later get it again. I know a lot of people swear by the Dreamcast, and that's fine. I played Jet Grind Radio and all of them, Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. Like I played them later on the GameCube. So I was just like, all right, well, I got what I needed out of the Dreamcast.
Yeah.
Versions on the later consoles.
Yeah, I like them too myself. I mean, Dreamcast, Saturn, all those good ones. But it is what it is. But and you didn't say no obscure stuff like Panasonic 3DO or Philips CDI and
no, I could never get my hands on stuff like that, man.
Dude, you know how much that stuff was when it first came out? $900 for a CDI. You get out of here. In today's market, it's over 4 digits. Golly.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like that's a collector's item. That's when I'm making that big contract money. That's when I'll like I have this idea of just like having like a whole shelf of just cool memorabilia and stuff like that, and just stuff that I think is cool. Like there's this GameCube so there's a Panasonic Q.
Look at that Pass IQ system. It's got the damn GameCube.
Which is like this TV DVD player with a GameCube built into it. And it could play GameCube games and DVDs, except it's like not functional at all. That's why it's like defective almost. That's why they don't really sell a lot of them. That's why they didn't sell well. They only had them in Japan. But I like the idea of it by principle. And I'm also kind of just like, I don't know, I can watch a DVD and play GameCube games. I don't know.
Oh, so is it kind of like one of those early models, like how the PS3, when it was like 60 gigabyte or 40 gigabyte, it was backwards compatible?
Yeah, it was like a different version of it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they only released it in Japan, so it was just kind of like, and you see why, because it wasn't like conducive at all, like because it would mess up the disc after a while and it would stop working. It's just a cool thing to have. Like I'd just be like, I got it.
Yeah, and you like the GameCube, right?
Yes, that's one of my favorite systems, to be honest. I grew up on it.
That is a very obscure controller, I must say.
It is. It's weird, but I like it. It feels good to me. I like it in my hands, man. Like it's weird. Nintendo's always got a thing with making weird controllers. The N64 makes no sense. Like it's like where do you hold it? The big thing in the middle, and then like the sides. How do you get the D-pad? Like it's some games you got to kind of hold it like at a weird thing, or you got to have it on your lap. It's really weird.
Right, and then the L trigger is right here, but you're holding this, and you know the Z button is in the back. And it's like, how am I going to reach the L if I'm?
It's weird.
So, what is your favorite game currently?
That's tough. I've been playing a lot of really fun games lately. Like God of War has been like my thing right now. Ragnarok has been.
You're on Ragnarok?
Yes, I am. Why wouldn't I be?
Oh, you're on it. Wait. I don't want to spoil anything.
Please don't.
I'm not.
I was gonna say, like, I'm not too far in.
You're not too far. I won't say.
Yeah, I got the game like last week, and I've been kind of like last weekend with flying out and stuff. I haven't really had time to sit down and really jump into it. I'm on like a chapter 3 right now, so I'm not too far. Started off like really hot though, so I was just like, all right, cool. We're jumping into things.
Okay, I imagine chapter 3 is a little bit after you go to the dwarf shop.
Yes, pretty much. That's right where I'm around. I just did that. Yeah.
Oh, so you beat Thor and stuff. Beat Thor.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not an idiot. I'm sure he said he'll see me soon, so I'm pretty sure like, I'm gonna see him again soon.
Knocked his tooth out. He said he's gonna come back for more. Ooh.
Yeah. What a psychopath.
Right. And so are you currently hooked up with like the Game Awards? Do you watch that?
Yeah, I keep up with it. I don't sit down and watch it the same way I used to, but I keep up with it.
Okay, so you feel like God of War is going to win? I feel like it's between this one or Elden Ring. What's your opinion?
I think God of War is probably going to take it. It's such a masterfully done game. I haven't beaten it, obviously, so like I don't know all the twists and turns of the stories, but the first game was fantastic. The mechanics of the axe alone is always the Leviathan axe is just one of the coolest things in gaming. It's probably my favorite weapon in all of gaming. It's just. And then you just get it back, and then you just like it just feels so natural. It's crazy.
So you got a PS5 around you, huh?
Yes, I do. I made the trek. I called in some favors. I sacrificed my firstborn. I did everything it took to get the PS5.
Oh,
That's
man.
what you got to do to get it. That's what you got to do these days to get one.
That's what you got. Don't be jealous of me, Leroy, but I was a day oneer.
Oh, that's crazy.
I'm just lucky like that. Soon after that showcase ended, my friend was like, dude, they're taking pre-order. I'm like, what? Sold out. GameStop had a bundle no one wanted to buy. I'm like, credit card activated. Let's go. Yes.
Activated the credit card just for that. I appreciate that. We love that.
Yes. And what is your favorite game of all time?
That's tough. If you wanted to go off of time I've invested, you would make a hard argument, and we could say, like, in general, like maybe the Super Smash series. Oh. Between Melee, growing up on that, between Smash Ultimate as well, I've put probably years of my life into those games. Melee, I played as a kid nonstop. And then as I got older and I started learning about competitive stuff and like the nuances of Melee, I really got into it with me and my buddies. And then when it came to Smash Ultimate, I really got into Smash Ultimate from day one. If you ever add me on Switch, and you see my hours logged into it, I'm pretty sure I'm at like I don't even think I'm exaggerating, like 5,000 hours into Smash Ultimate. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Who's your main on Smash Ultimate?
Oh, my main.
Like me, I go for
switches.
Donkey Kong because, man, Donkey Kong.
Yeah, no, Donkey Kong is good in the game too. Like I like him. He's like my pocket character. Like if I'm going to a party and I don't want to like, destroy, which is hilarious because like last Friday I went to like a Friendsgiving at the wrestling school I helped teach at, and I just kind of destroyed everybody like nonstop in Smash Ultimate, which is a lot of fun. Yeah. But I would my genuine mains, like if I'm competitive and I'm trying to sit down and like play another competitive player, it would probably be like Ness or Inkling.
Ness, you're talking about that little boy from Earthbound?
Yes, I am.
What?
I got a soft spot for my little psychic kid.
What?
Yeah, I really liked him in Smash 4. I like the way he controlled. I didn't really play him too much in like Melee or the first one or in Brawl, but I got into it in Smash 4, and then I really liked the way he retooled his moveset in Smash Ultimate, and I was just like, all right, he's got a lot of kill options. That back throw is pretty legit. Inkling I liked because I really liked the way they looked in the game from the first trailer, and then their gimmick with the inking, and then that raises your damage up. I really liked it, and I was like, okay, I like this. Cool. If I run out of ink, like it could screw me over because then I can't do most of my moves. But there's a strategy here. I can kind of mess around with this. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so I mean, one of these days, I guess after, we'll pass the information, I'll give you my gamer friend code.
Yes, you got to. That's right. Necessary.
My son wanted me to ask you this. He's not in here. He's watching some kind of stuff on YouTube. It's friendly, very kid friendly. But my son wanted to know, it's kind of hard for me to ask you this, Leroy.
Oh, no.
Do you like Fortnite?
I don't. I'm sorry, I don't. And I try my best not to yuck other people's yum. I try my best not to like be that guy because that's like I know how it feels to like watch video game fads pass by, and you're just like, what's the deal with that? And I lived through a lot of them. Like, you remember the Guitar Hero fad? You remember like when everybody was going nuts over Guitar Hero?
Rock Band, Guitar Hero, all that. Yes.
Like, it was sick though. Like, Guitar Hero was awesome. Yeah, you got to pay $200 for the game and the guitars and the everything, but like it was a fun time. You're rocking out to Nirvana, to randomness, and then they had DJ Hero, Rock Band. Like the music genre era was really fun, and I think people like I'm mad that it kind of passed like that. I feel like it was like 3 years, and then it was just like gone.
Oh man. It seems like it almost in a way. I give it a good 5.
Yeah, Call of Duty was like dominating. I remember, and then now it's like free to play games that like anybody can jump into. You can play on your iPhone, you can play on your tablet, you can play on anything, and it's cross platform, and anybody can jump into it. And it's just like, I don't know. I just don't really find Fortnite that interesting. Like, it looks like a very low res game, and I get it's free to play, so like that's why it's the way it is. And I guess the fun of it is the skins.
Right. And my son said, if you said no, because if you said yes, if you would have said yes, he said, you must be very good. But since you said no, you don't know how to play. Okay. It's a 10-year-old.
Yeah, I mean, no, I don't. He's right. He's not wrong. I tried to play like once or twice, I think. Not like on my Switch or on my anything. I think someone was just playing Fortnite. They're like, hey, you want to try? And I was like, all right. And I was just like, it's not for me. You shoot a bunch of things, then you got to like build stuff. And I was just like, this ain't really for me. Like, I don't know. Like, it's cool though. I won't knock people's stuff. It seems like people have a good time with it. It's been successful for like, came on what? Like originally like 2016, 2017.
It seems like 16 or 15.
Like 6 years. Like, what are we gonna say about it?
That's just like freaking GTA 5. It's like, dude, was on the PS3. Now you're on the 5. Like,
yeah, no, that one is nuts. Like, I'm just like, dang, like that game has been out since like that game originally came out in 2013.
Yes,
like we're almost like 10 years past it. Like we're still playing it like it's brand new.
Right, man, it's crazy, dude.
That's why I love the joke where it's like we're never getting GTA 6. Like we're just never getting it. Rockstar's just gonna keep remaking GTA 5.
One of these days, Rockstar will do something. So, and I was watching one of your promos. I believe it was a workout promo, maybe. And you said something about you read comic books. Now, do you read comic books?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I do.
So what are you on right now as far as like comic book wise?
Oh man. I think the last thing I was reading a lot of this new Amazing Spider-Man run that they were doing recently that I was really, really into. I'm trying to remember who was writing it that I really liked. I'm a fan of Dan Slott. I don't actually hate his modern Spider-Man take, but this was like a new crop of people and they really took him into a fun direction.
You're talking about when he had the Osborn suit and everything?
No, not the Superior Spider-Man. No. I mean, I don't hate that era. But
Superior Spider-Man is the when Doc Ock
took over his mind. Yep.
Yeah,
I was reading it. I was read up on Superior Spider-Man. It wasn't for me, but I was read up on it. You know, I was just like, this is interesting. This is an interesting storyline. Where are we going with this? I read a lot of I like a lot of Spider-Gwen. That was like one of my favorite Spider-Verse stories to come out of that. And I was like, oh yeah, that's like a lot of fun. And I read a lot of Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan. I like her a lot. I think she's one of the best modern superhero creations in recent memory because she doesn't feel like a novelty. Oh, we needed to make a Muslim superhero. Like it feels like, oh, there was a lot of care and thoughtfulness put into this character, her upbringing, her origin, and her powers. You know.
Mm-hmm. So, how did you feel about the show then? Since you like,
I don't hate the show. It's just not like it's not the same character.
It ain't half mutant. Come on.
Yeah, like she's not the same character. You know what I mean? And so and I get it. Like you can't in the MCU because things went a certain way. You can't tell these stories the same way. Like there's no Inhumans there, so you kind of have to make her this mutant, but then she's kind of not really a mutant. It's really weird to me. Her powers aren't the same at all. The Miss Marvel thing is kind of weird. Like her fascination with Captain Marvel it doesn't really make a lot of sense because Captain Marvel in that universe hasn't really been around. So it's like she wasn't on Earth like forever for like 5 years. Like, you know, it's like weird. You know
yeah, there's no really documentation like Carol coming down. Okay, then she does this, saves the world. Okay,
and she just goes back to space. Like,
just goes back and does her thing. I don't know.
Like, I don't know. Like, if she was a huge fan of like Iron Man or Captain America, I would be like, okay, that makes sense. You know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, she did go to what was it, the Avengers Expo?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. That is very surprising that you said those things. My gosh. Okay, Leroy. I thought you were going to give me something wild like Image Comics, like Nice House on the Lake or something. But yeah.
No, I mean, I really like what's it called? Saga. I don't know if you ever heard of Saga.
I've never heard.
They just haven't released.
They just rebooted it, Leroy.
Huh?
I said they just rebooted it this year with number 55. Like the writer or whatever took off big hiatus.
No, he was off for a while. I didn't even know. Like I know he was off for a while. Like I was like, there's just not been a new issue for like 3 years almost. Like
yeah. They
just rebooted it. You said?
Yeah. They're into it now and stuff. It's like came back with issue 55. Yeah, I got the issues in there. I'm a big old comic book head. I was going to ask you though, Leroy, do you have any valuable comic books?
I do not. I collect some cool variants that I think are cool. They're sentimentally valuable to me. There's in New York, there's Midtown Comics. It's like a little chain.
I buy from them all the time. Yes.
Oh hell yeah.
Hell yeah. There's like 3 locations in New York. Yes.
I love stuff by Midtown Comics is they have like the coolest variants. They have a lot of Midtown Comic exclusive variants and stuff, as you probably know. So like I'll collect some ones that I just think are cool. Like I'm like, oh, this is a really cool Spider-Gwen one, you know, or this is really cool this one or whatever. And I'm just like, that's it. You know? Really enjoy that.
I usually get cover A, but you know, if it's a hot variant and it just looks like it's iPod catching or whatever, you know, I'll get it myself too.
Yeah, like I'm a sucker for a cool little holographic variant too. Like,
oh, that's and the foil. Everybody loves the foil, but you know,
there's this really cool Flashpoint that I had gotten one where it was like Batman and Flash, and it was a holographic, and it would flip from Flash and it flipped to Batman. It was really cool.
Yeah,
there's like a new 52 Flashpoint thing.
Oh, okay, it's back with that. Okay.
Yeah.
Because they just got done with the Flashpoint Beyond.
I know that. They're never gonna let Flashpoint die, huh? They're just gonna keep Flashpoint.
They're relaunching DC again.
I know. I can't. I'm tired of the DC relaunches. Like some of the stories are cool, Like, let me not come at them. Some of the stories are
Okay.
cool, but it's just like I'm tired. Like, why I gotta relearn Superman? Why I gotta relearn Batman? Like I know these characters. Like, why can't just tell me it's a different universe or something? Like, why we gotta kibosh the other one? Like, why do we always have to stop this,
Yeah.
stop the presses, and just jump to something completely new? Like, at least when Marvel does like the Ultimates or a new universe or world, they don't
Right. It's a different world.
They don't
Yes.
retcon the previous stuff. Maybe elements or something like that, but they won't retcon it.
Right. And I'm glad you said the Ultimates. Yes, because Ultimate Spider-Man wasn't even called Avengers, just called the Ultimates. Yes. All that good stuff. But
No,
yeah,
I
DC.
really liked a lot of the Ultimate ideas. Ultimate Spider-Man, when I was a kid growing up, I was reading that. That was a lot of like the Spider-Man that I read that I kind of came up with, like where I was like, oh, like this is Spider-Man for me. I think
Yeah.
there was some stuff that was weird because when I got a little bit older and I started reading up on the original comics, I was like, oh, this is a different choice. Oh, this is kind of different. But I was like Green Goblin wasn't this like weird freakazoid monster. He was just he was
Right.
insane, but he kind of just wore a suit and a glider, you know? He wasn't really
Yeah.
a monster, like
And
a
on
demon. or
Ultimate
something.
Spider-Man, he's like hulked out Green Goblin. And it's like, okay, yeah. And Peter,
Yeah.
straight up high schooler. And it's like, okay, this is for kids or whatever. I'm reading this, but no, it gets a little bit deeper than kids stuff because
No, the Ultimate Spider-Man got
Yeah.
really dark.
yes.
Like, him and MJ have like this really, I feel like that's such a good like realistic relationship, like teenage relationship, where everything feels intense and everything feels super dramatic. And for teenagers in that moment, it is. Maybe if you're an adult, you're like, I mean, they're being a little over the top. Like, why are they breaking up over? But then it's like, you know, in that moment, it feels crazy. And I think like that's what they nailed is that in a lot of other Spider-Man comics, they kind of gloss over him being a teenager. Like, it's like, oh man, I missed my math test or whatever. Like with him, it was
Yeah.
like he was struggling. Like life was hard for him, you know? Like he could not juggle everything. And you just feel like he's like this teenager who just can't get his life together.
Yeah. Did you shed a tear when Peter died?
I did. I felt that. I really felt that because like it was like first off, one, he died. Like it wasn't like there wasn't some catch-22. There wasn't some he's gonna come back. They're gonna do something. It was like no, he died, and we felt that. We grieved that. Like his universe grieved that, and then it led to something beautiful, which is continued because I look at Miles Morales and he's a continuation of that Spider-Man because there's such a cool tragic story, of course, of like, hey, I had powers. I could have probably helped him. I could have made like maybe I couldn't save him, but I could have at least helped him. But
Yeah.
I didn't do anything. And that was his Uncle Ben moment of like, man, the great power, great responsibility. Like I could have stepped in, I could have did something, I should have did something
Yeah.
because I could have, and I didn't. And now I wear black to mourn him, to mourn that opportunity to save Spider-Man. And now I got to be Spider-Man, and I think that's so cool. And it's continued in that. Like obviously, you know, Miles Morales Spider-Man is, you know, he exists, he's got his run still going. And I just think there's something really, really cool about that. Such a cool layer that's added to that because there's this tragedy in that he has to now fill in the shoes for his mentor or his would-be mentor because he didn't even mentor him. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes. Well, I mean, dang, Leroy, I was just going to. You don't have slabs or anything? You just okay. You ever heard of that?
Oh my God, those are cool. No, I did not, unfortunately, but
Yeah.
like
That's just my slab, like signed by Todd the God. You ever meet him?
nah,
You ever meet any art, dude?
I've got a lot of like when I was younger, I had like collected a bunch of like encyclopedias of the characters. They would break down all their different
I know
comic
what
books
you're
and
talking
stuff
about,
like that.
yes.
And that was how I'd read up. When I was a
Yeah.
kid too, I would like run to like Midtown Comics. I'd run to like Barnes and Nobles. Run to there's a spot in New York called Forbidden Planet. That's another like in-house. Okay, yeah. Okay, you know the New York comic book scene. Like there's some big ones and like so like those are the spots I would just read the comic books. I would try to get the variants that I liked and stuff like that. You know, it just like I'm not a huge collector. Like I'm not, but I feel like that's something I want to do when I get a little bit older. Like just because like I like to consume. I like the content. I like to consume the stuff. I like to play video games. I like to read comic books that I think are interesting and like, you know, touch me and stuff like that. But like in terms of collecting them, I've been very much like, very, very poor kid mentality of like, all right, I got it. All right, let me save my money for the next one so I can whatever instead of getting the huge limited edition one that costs an extra $100 or something. But now I'm like, man, I really want to get something to deck out my shelf, to get something to like really just like when I have the space to just put on it like a trophy scale or something, you know?
Mm-hmm. Are you familiar with Donnie Cates at all?
Who was that? Johnny?
Donnie Cates. Donnie Cates. It's like him. Oh, and there's another guy. Ooh, he's been tearing it up. He just did the Batman run. Oh,
Ooh.
James Tinian the Fourth. I'm saying
yes, that name sounds familiar. Yes.
Yeah, them two, like, if you haven't read any of them, I just recommend reading them and stuff if you ever get time. But yeah, I'm basically reading like the new Thor line and Hulk and Venom, you know.
Were you reading Immortal Hulk?
I was not, but I know the premise of it.
Hulk was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed reading that. It was such an interesting take on the character because, like, I think Hulk gets a bad rap because people just think that he's just Frankenstein. Like when he's angry, he turns into a monster and da-da-da. But then it's a very simple story. There's not a lot of nuance to it. But like, I feel like they took this really interesting spin where it's almost like the Hulk is like this possessed, everlasting entity that will always just destroy. You know, it was very fascinating, you know?
Yeah, dude. And I imagine you read all 50 issues, right? Or no?
No, I read through it, yeah.
Okay, so you tell me, at the very end, when they see, I forget who they're trying to rescue, and it's the one above all and the one down below, and it's like, and the one down below was like the one above all along. What's that?
No, that completely lost. It was very abstract. Very meta. I definitely also felt that too. Like the one above all, the Watcher, the whatever. It's just like it just keeps like levels of people viewing this, and it was just like really weird to me. But I'm not gonna lie, that's where it kind of lost me because I just kind of liked. I'm more of an individual. Like I don't need everything to be this huge cosmic, universe changing whatever. Like sometimes I just like the stories, man. Like as long as I can feel something for these characters, feel something for what's going on with them in this journey to get somewhere, then I'm good. I'm banked in. I'm invested.
Already, guy. Me too. Also, you like anime?
Yes, I do.
And I guess DBZ is your go-to?
Yeah, I grew up on DBZ. I feel like it's like hard to say like who hasn't grown up on DBZ at this point. You know, I think everybody's had to watch it or experience it in some form or capacity.
I just don't like it when people try to, like the hardcore anime thing. Oh, you like Dragon Ball? You don't know anime.
That stuff I don't really care for because it's like it's fun and it's like Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z paved the way for a lot of anime to be what it is now. It's the quintessential shonen anime. So for me, it's just like that's so weird that you don't like you like it in everything else you watch, but you don't like the original. Like that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And it's I get it. Like I know a lot of people aren't crazy about Dragon Ball Super, and I'm one of those people. Like I'm a DBZ fan, and it doesn't.
You don't like Dragon Ball Super?
I like parts of it. I like certain arcs, but there's some arcs of it that are just not great. You know?
Okay, I'm just gonna say, do you not like when Jiren is introduced? Because Jiren is a badass.
No, Jiren is awesome. The tournament arcs are awesome. That's the best parts of it. Yeah. To me, they fumbled the bag with Future Trunks. They fumbled it.
Future Trunks, okay. Really cool.
And then it just ended really weird. Like Trunks saves his universe, but then he doesn't. Then they're just like, all right, we're gonna make you a new universe, happy ending. And you're just like, like what? Okay, like we could have just like, why didn't we just do that in the first place? Then just nuke the universe or whatever. Like I don't know, it was just really weird to me, and it didn't really like do anything for me. So like I just yeah, like I don't know. There's just missed opportunities. A lot of missed opportunities. I think Frieza and his arc, his rivalry with Goku is one of the cooler things that are explored because it's like, okay, cool. Like we're seeing them in this capacity where it's not just I hate you. It's like there's like his rivalry, this tension where they have to be forced to work together sometimes, and there's a ability to like, hey, because I know how you are, I almost trust you because you're the devil I know kind of deal. And I think there's something really cool there.
Right. Have you read the manga to see the new form of Frieza, though?
Yes, I'm a little read up. I'm not caught up, but I do know about the new form of Frieza.
Okay, I'm like, wow. Okay, they're going there. Yes.
Yeah, it's just weird to me because it's just like always like another form, another thing for Frieza, and I'm just like, I could just believe that he's just gonna get stronger. Like I don't need him to be golden. I don't need him to be like decked out.
Or black. Like
yeah,
Black Frieza, you know, come on.
Yeah, especially because his final form is such a cool design. I'm just like, I don't need
right
it to be played with too much, you know?
Yeah, and I thought they could have done more with Cooler.
Absolutely. I mean, Cooler's always been like a fumbled opportunity. I mean, I feel like they killed him and then they just jumped into Meta Cooler, which was, you know. So
it ain't more meds than what's his name? What did they do to Broly? Oh, the third Broly.
Broly. Oh, we don't talk about that.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, but okay. So I have here. What's your favorite series, movie, and character of any anime? So series, I assume Dragon Ball. Movie and character.
So my favorite character out of any anime.
Any.
If I was gonna go with Dragon, like growing up, I really liked Gohan. It's gonna sound weird not to always go with Goku, but I really liked Gohan because to me he was like this very quintessential. Like he doesn't want to be a fighter, but he's growing up in this crazy time where his dad is being killed by aliens and his planet and his friends are constantly being attacked. And he's kind of got to he's got to grok with it. You know what I mean? And he's like a kid.
What? His dad is with him all the time. Piccolo's right there training him. What?
Well, Piccolo got killed by Nappa, so he died for a little while.
Oh yeah, well yeah.
I know it's Dragon Ball Z. When you're dead for like a week and then you're back, you know. But whatever.
Yeah.
You don't mourn much. You're just kind of like, all right, let's start getting these Dragon Balls together, fellas. But no, Gohan, I really like that he's like he doesn't want to fight. He doesn't want to be this person, and then, like, you know, he does that out of necessity. And just when he gets pushed to his brink, he has overwhelming power that is almost inexplicable. Like it rivals Goku in such a way where Goku's training nonstop to be this way, to be this crazy badass. And it's like, Gohan, it's just like, you piss him off. Like you push him too far, that strength will just come out of nowhere, you know? And I get it. Like, that's what part of the reason why I don't like Super is that they completely destroyed Gohan's character, where it's like, it makes sense for him to grow into that. It does, in a way. Like, he just like, yeah, I'm just going to take care of my family. I'm going to be this family guy. I'm not a fighter. I'm not a true Saiyan, you know? I'm only half Saiyan. I'm an Earthling and whatever. I get it, but it's just like, hey, if your planet's being attacked and it's constantly being in danger and you're just kind of like, all right, back to studying. What are we doing, Gohan, man? You're like the strongest person in the universe, but you're just like, nah. Like, you don't think it would benefit you to do a little bit of both?
Yeah.
To set aside maybe 2 days to train a week. Stay in shape, you know what I mean?
Yeah, my boy really likes Gohan, and I give him hell for it. I'm like, oh, okay. Have you seen the new movie though?
The new movie was really good. I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
I enjoyed a lot of it. I think some of it was a little ridiculous. I thought it was cool that they brought back the Red Ribbon Army. I thought it was cool that
I did see the RR. Yeah, okay.
I thought it was cool that they did that. I wasn't crazy about just bringing back Cell for no reason. Like, it was just like, okay, Cell.
You spoil too much, Leroy. Spoiler.
Sorry.
I was just wondering how you like it. Hey.
Yeah. But no, it's cool. And, you know, the I really like the focus on Gohan and Piccolo and their relationship. And I think that a lot of people really, like, if you're making jokes about, like, you know, that's his dad, like, you really see it in this movie, you know, like the mentorship.
Well, it is. Because Goku, I'm going to train. But Dad,
and in that movie, Goku's literally just not with Gohan, so that's why it's hilarious too.
Yeah.
He's doing his own thing as always.
What I can't understand is you will diss on Super, but won't talk smack about GT.
I will talk smack about GT, but I will say this: I will say this about GT. Super Saiyan 4 is cool as hell.
Dude,
Super Saiyan 4 is
before
cool as
all
hell.
that, you got to get to a lot of crap in order to get to Super Saiyan 4. For one,
Super
when
Saiyan
they go into
4
space,
is such a cool form, though, and it makes sense. You have to pull back your tail. You have to see like the full, like it's just such a cool, like full circle transformation. Like Super Saiyan God is just, yeah, now I'm blue now. Like Super Saiyan 4 was like, no, like a true Saiyan strength comes from the moon. It comes from the ape-like, great ape tendencies of being a Saiyan. And it was like, oh, cool, that makes sense. That's why Goku and Vegeta are the ones that can do it, because they're true Saiyans, the only true Saiyans left. Like, understandable. Not some weird thing where like, nah, they're just ones who got to God form, you know? Like,
yeah, but Leroy,
No,
So,
I will completely admit that most of it is trash. Like it's most of it is really hot garbage. It's a lot of fumbled opportunities. It's really weird. Like it's weird.
dude,
I mean,
no,
also
when
look
they're
at
in
Toriyama,
space or whatever, there's that one dude and he acts like such a pedo. And it's like, oh,
No,
no.
it's weird. Toriyama didn't make it, and
Oh, I know he didn't make it. Yeah, yeah. But
It absolutely shows. Like at least Super, like he's a part of Super. You know, he's got a lot of new writers, obviously a whole new generation of people. But it's like GT is very weird, very strange.
yes, even the baby part is weird, where baby possesses Vegeta, and oh gosh, I don't want to get into it anymore. Why did I ask it? Arr. GT, it has left a stain on my brain that I can't get rid of. Oh man, but yeah, Leroy, you also have some pretty cool merch. You got a lot of shirts, but one thing in particular I saw was that Bart versus Space Mutants custom cart. Is that is that really an actual game you could play? Like it's a modded, it's a modded
Fully functional
game.
NES cartridge, fully functional, man. It's fun because the way I sell it on my merch table is I tell people, say, man, like it's Russian roulette, except you always win because I don't know what game it is. We don't know what game it is anymore. These were spray painted and created months ago. But people have said they got Tetris, Mega Man 2.
Oh,
Zelda
you do
2.
it like that.
So you can just get any game. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a lot of fun. We haven't gotten there yet where it's a custom Big Game Leroy game yet. But don't be surprised in 2 years if you're playing Big Game Leroy video games. You know?
Yeah. Because like, dude, no, like I could talk to a few people and we can get some mods going on if you really want to. You know, straight up. Like, dude, all we gotta do is just change Bart's skin color to make him have some hair.
Yeah,
We'll replace the enemies with who was that one guy you were wrestling? Robert Martyr?
Robert Martyr, yeah.
Yeah. And a few other people, you know. Man,
Yeah.
Hey, there's the game, you know?
I'm with it.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I got, man. Oh, popped in my head.
Yes.
What is the worst bump you ever took?
Ooh, that's an easy one. That's actually an easy one for once. I was wrestling at House of Glory. I was wrestling in a casket match. And I was wrestling with Smiley, against Smiley, who is a, former mentor turned enemy, turned friend, turned sometimes enemy. Very confusing. He's kind of a psychopath, literally.
Okay.
More on that later. So he power bombs me into turnbuckle 2 times. Instead of doing it for the 3rd time, so there was a wooden ramp where you make your entrance way. And so he powerbombed me from the inside of the ring over the ropes to the outside. And I landed splat on the wooden ramp. And when I tell you, I thought that I destroyed my back. I'm not lying. I was fine. Of course, I'm still moving and walking, but that one, I felt that one for a few weeks.
My gosh, dude. That just reminds me of like Mike Awesome and who's that other guy? He
Spike Dudley?
Who?
You're talking about Spike Dudley, like Mike Awesome?
No. Well, Spike Dudley also took that bump, but I'm talking about
he took
that
a lot
one.
of sick bumps from Mike Awesome. Mike Awesome killed him. He took years off his life.
Yes. The Asian guy. They had a war going on, and he like did the whole awesome bomb.
Mike
out of the ring. Out of the ring to the table, and like, man, he landed on his neck and head. Whew.
I know exactly what you're talking about. My brain is
it's killing me too.
Yeah. But no, absolutely. No, it was very much emulated in that style, but yeah.
Okay. I'm Smiley. I also saw you wrestle a guy named Pink Sanchez.
Pinky Sanchez, yeah, that's the homie. That's an OG. Very, very, very interesting guy. Very interesting character, but he's good peoples. Little crazy, but he's good peoples. As most people in wrestling are.
I don't know about his cousin Dirty Sanchez, but yeah. Anyway, Leroy, where can they find you?
Yes. So you can still follow me on Twitter as long as we're still using Twitter at Big Game Leroy. You can also follow me on Instagram at Big Game Leroy. I'm advertising my Tumblr because I guess let's start getting ready to jump out to other platforms. So find me at Big Game Leroy on Tumblr. Facebook, you can add me on Leroy Green. That's pretty much about it. You can also buy my merchandise at prowrestlingtees.com/buy Big Game Leroy. You can also find a lot of my merchandise on fullygimmick.com. They got a few of my t-shirts up there. Got my NES cartridges that you were saying earlier and a few other nice little fun things as well. And yeah, you can also catch me on IWTV quite frequently. You can also catch me at Invictus, Pizza Party. Those are some dates that I have coming up soon, which are really, really exciting. And yeah, enjoy wrestling as well in Pittsburgh this December. So a lot of traveling for your favorite player one.
All right. Well, thank you, Big Game Leroy. I'm Dean. That is Talking with Dean.